This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial endowment expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on March 28th, 2014. Our time is 8:48 Mountain. Our radio show runs on your favorite radio stations. The show is archived. Two websites, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. You can stream the shows there on your computer. We also have a podcast. The podcast is through iTunes. You can have iTunes on your portable device, subscribe to the podcast. The show comes in every week. You can listen to it anytime you want. The radio show is portable. And Harold does very important work every day with daily market commentary. And you want to listen to it on his websites, and also you can find it on the podcast site as well. As we start today's show, we will talk about it a little later on, but hsfineauctions.com had an outstanding auction on Wednesday. It was a massive success. We'll talk about that later. Also this week, more concerns between the Ukraine and Russia. And it seems possible now that Russia may try and invade the Ukraine in its totality. So that could be quite interesting. I know a lot of people are quite concerned about World War III. The IRS came out against Bitcoin, saying it was property, not currency. We saw Bitcoin plunge as well because over in China the rumors were flying that it could not be used. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Also, Iraq purchased $1.56 billion in gold, the biggest purchase in 3 years. We also, and this is something to keep in mind, Spanish consumer prices coming out today, they fell to 0.2 year over year. That's raising the prospect of some kind of new aggressive ECB action next week. And the speculation is you potentially could have quantitative easing coming out of the ECB. We will have to wait and see how this plays out. But the big concern in the Euroland right now is that you could have deflation. And that is something that obviously they do not want. And to follow up on what we had spoken about last week, Richard Russell saying that he's very, very bullish on silver the last 2 weeks. And he follows it up for a third week saying, I'm buying physical silver right now. Here's what I did today. I took some unbacked junk currency called Federal Reserve notes, obviously in the United States, they're dollar, and with them purchased some constitutional money known as silver. I consider gold and silver now being manipulated as on the bargain table. You and I, using Federal Reserve notes, can go to our local coin dealer and swap junk Federal Reserve notes for constitutional money, better known as gold and silver. The current erratic and nervous markets are hardly conducive to peace of mind, and in my opinion, no amount of money is worth the loss of peace of mind. As I see it, peace of mind at this time and a reasonable position can be found in an actual physical position in gold and silver. Richard Russell going out, though, taking obviously the U.S. dollar and buying hard assets, in particular, very, very bullish on silver. And Harold, one of the other stories that was really strong this week, a lot of people coming out, including Henry Blodgett, saying that there's huge concern regarding the stock market and a major pullback or even a crash.
It's always possible, Randy. Again, these markets are so crazy at this particular point. And you look at the markets, and I trade them every day. And I watch them. I've been in business 35 years, trading commodities and that type of thing. And again, there's no rhyme or reason for what's happening in these markets. What happened for the last 2 weeks in gold and silver is ridiculous. There was nothing fundamental in the market and nothing technical in the market that would have caused gold to drop from 1,400 1,200 basically that we hit, all the way down to 1,300 or 1,297 that we hit this morning. So again, we have very heavy support in gold at 1,280. We did hit a low of 1,285.90 this morning, but now we're trading back up at 1,297. I'd love to see that 1,280 level hold. We're trading up $4.70 so far today. Silver's up 15 cents. It did drop below the $20 level. It's at 19.94. However, the major support for silver is at $18, and again, that's very, very heavy support. Platinum's up $5 this morning at 14.08, and palladium is up 11 at 774. The stock market's been extremely volatile, and the fact is that I don't see a lot of good news in the economy here in the United States. A lot of people are now starting to talk how difficult things are getting here back in the U.S. It only appears that Wall Street is the only ones that feel that things are going great because the everyday hardworking family is not doing well here. The middle class is getting crushed, and it just doesn't seem to be getting any better. There's not a lot of good jobs out there. You know, the fact is they keep on showing that the job numbers are looking decent. They want them to get better, but the jobs that are available are very low-paying jobs. So unless the middle class can get back on track, there's no chance that the economy can really get back on track because everything is based around the middle class. That's the largest population in the United States, and they're the ones that spend the most amount of money. And the fact is they're hurting right now. So all in all, the markets have been disappointing the last couple of weeks. We saw a great rally when gold went from $1,180 all the way up to $1,400 in a short period of time, and we felt at that time that we could see this market starting to get back on track. But then again, you know, the banks beat it up again the last 2 weeks, and the market's trading below the 1,300 level. However, it should start to pick up momentum. Again, we're in this for the long haul. We're not trading gold and silver. That would be a foolish thing to do at this point unless you're an expert trader. To trade gold and silver, I would say that 90% of the people that would do that would lose their money. What you want to do is buy and hold. There is going to be situations in the market that is going to make this market explode one day, and again, you need to be in the market for that to happen. There are several situations out there that could make that happen. One of them is what Randy brought up at the beginning of the show, which is what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine. Russia is also a huge producer of oil, as is Venezuela, and I feel that with the sanctions that are coming against Russia and with what's happening in Venezuela, that we could see the oil market explode. You know, we saw oil prices hit $110 a couple weeks ago. They brought it back down to the $98 level, or we're now back up to 102. But again, with Venezuela being one of the largest producers of oil in the world, and so is Russia, and both having there's situations going on, I think that oil prices are going to skyrocket. It would not shock me in any way to see oil hit 120 to 125. That's inflationary, not deflationary. And inflation is why they're going to have to raise interest rates eventually in the United States and other areas in the world, because oil is universal, and so is food. Food prices have increased by 16% since the beginning of 2014, and we do feel that food prices are going to go substantially higher this year, which is, again, another heavily inflationary cycle. So we're looking at two major situations, one in oil and one in food, that is going to happen this year and is already happening, that is going to bring inflation back. And inflation, which we believe is much higher than what the reports are showing, is the real reason that they're going to have to eventually raise interest rates and strengthen the U.S. dollar. But at this particular point, the U.S. dollar is sitting right at around the 80-cent level. We did get down substantially, and I thought that we were going to test the 78.5-cent level, which would have brought us up to about $1,500 to $1,600 gold, but that didn't happen at this particular point. What Richard Russell said about using worthless Federal Reserve notes, which are U.S. dollars, to buy constitutional money, which is gold and silver, that's exactly what he's saying. He's taking worthless U.S. dollars, which at one time was the strongest currency in the world and is now one of the weakest. The only reason that the U.S. dollar is showing some type of strength is because other countries like Canada and Japan are lowering their currency. Canada's currency, our currency, is getting beaten up tremendously. It's traded this week at 88 cents. But that was voluntary. That was something that the Canadian government decided to do on their own. That was not a weakness in the Canadian economy at all. It was done more for export purposes. And then you've got the Japanese that are also doing the same to their currency. Otherwise, I do believe that we would be looking at least 78.50 in the U.S. dollar, and then the next major level for that would be 72.5 cents, which would push us back up to almost $2,000 gold. So, again, I'm still very bullish on this market. I get disillusioned like you do also. Everybody wants the markets to do what they're supposed to do, and we've been in this for a long, long time. Don't forget our show's been on for 13 years now, and we've done a tremendous amount of radio shows. We've never, ever missed a show in all of the 13 years that we've been on together because we take our business very seriously, and I know a lot of our listeners depend on the information that we give on the show. So, again, I get frustrated the same way as you do. I get frustrated when I see these markets fall and there's no apparent reason for them. As soon as I walk into the office in the morning and I watch the markets and see the markets down, there's no reasoning for it. The dollar isn't down. You're not seeing anything happening overseas that's going to affect the gold and silver markets. There's no change in the supplies in gold and silver. So again, that leads me to believe, and I hate to say and use the word manipulated, but it's the only answer for what's really happening in the gold and silver market. So there's obviously forces out there that believe that by manipulating the price of gold and silver that it's going to convince people that the economy is better than it really is. I don't think people are that stupid to believe that that's actually what's going on. I certainly don't believe it, and I know most of my listeners and clients know what the true story is. So again, the other thing is that when you manipulate a market, it takes the credibility out of the market. Who wants to trade a market that can be manipulated when these markets are supposed to be free markets that are supposed to trade on their own merits? So again, all we can do at this particular point is just sit back and let the markets do their thing. The trend is always your friend, and the trend will always come back to the marketplace. So again, I'm totally convinced that we are in the right market at the right time, and gold and silver and diamonds and hard assets are more important now than they have ever been. You've got problems happening again in Europe that Randy talked about with Spain. There's just no growth there anymore. And they've got problems upon problems upon problems, and it's just not getting any better. There's no solutions to tremendous debt with very little money coming in. And that's where the problem is. They've incurred so much debt, and look at it just as if it was a normal household. A family that makes $50,000 a year, they have to pay their mortgage, they have to pay their car payments and everything, and what's left over, if there was anything after food and all that, it goes to savings. But most people don't. Most people go on their credit cards and spend more than they actually make, and that's exactly what the government is doing. The only difference is that the government has the benefit of printing money. So the fact is that they have income that comes in from tax revenue, and when less people are working, and also the people that are working are not making as much money, so the tax revenue coming into the country is less and less and less, and that's why the U.S. and other countries in Europe are doing so poorly. So the fact is, until things start to get better and people are paying more taxes because they're making more money and more people are working, things cannot get better here, and they can't get better in Europe. So really, we need to stick with the assets that we have at this point, because the fact is that hard assets like precious metals and diamonds and assets like that have a true relevance in the market, and they proved it through history. Diamonds in 1979 and 80 went up 500%, just like gold and silver did, with extremely high inflation. So we're very bullish on oil. We think oil is going to go substantially higher because of Venezuela and because of Russia. And that's going to push inflation up. Along with that, food prices are going up at a time when people don't have as much money as they need to. So the fact is that we could wake up at any given time and find that the Dow Jones is down 1,000 points. We've seen it in the past, and I do believe it's going to happen again. I have no money in the stock market. And the unfortunate thing is that with interest rates at 2% and people keeping the money in the bank and not making money at 2%, obviously, because inflation's higher than that and you have to pay taxes on any income, it forces people back into the stock market where they should never be. The stock market is not the stock market of old. You can't rely on it. It's a gambling casino. And basically, it wipes out most small investors because they don't have the time or the knowledge to do the research and understand charts and all that goes to picking a stock. So The fact is these are very, very dangerous times. And my top recommendation is to really just sit tight, is to have hard assets like gold and silver, be diversified, don't keep more money in the bank than you need to because we know the banking system is not safe. How scary is that to say that the banking system is not safe, the stock markets are not safe, the markets are being manipulated, countries are going bankrupt, the U.S. is in $20 trillion worth of debt, you got problems going on, major problems between Russia and the Ukraine where the U.S. is bringing sanctions against Russia, and that's not going to go well because Putin is not the type of guy that backs down, especially from Obama. You've got other situations happening in Venezuela and other parts of the world. It's a mess out there right now. It's a mess that we really need to sit back, clear our heads, and say, okay, what is important at this particular point, and what do we need to do to make sure that we don't get wiped out because other people in politics are making the wrong moves for us. And my suggestion is to keep some cash on hand, but don't keep more than $125,000 in any one account in Canadian banks. The Canadian banks, like the banks in Cyprus and the banks in the U.S. and all through Europe, all work under the same model, and they're all in trouble, and they could all take your money. Any type of bail-in means that they're going to take your money and use it to run the bank, and you don't want that to happen, so never keep more than the allotted insurance will allow you in your bank account. And if you have to go to 2 or 3 or 4 different banks in order to keep your money safe, then you need to do that. The trouble is, how do you conduct business when you need to keep more than $125,000 in the bank? On top of that, don't keep all your money in the stock market because, number one, even though the stock market appears to be going higher, most people are not making money in stocks. In fact, most people are still way behind from the losses from 2008 and 2009, and it's just way too risky for the everyday hardworking family to have their money in a gambling market like the stock market. And with the derivatives market the way it is, we could definitely see a major downturn in the Dow Jones this year. So please take that advice and lighten up on your speculative stock situations. Own some physical gold, own some physical silver, own some diamonds put away for your future and for safety, and let's just sit back and see how things unfold, because again, with what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine, that's definitely going to affect us, and it's going to affect us in the price of food and oil. We get a lot from Russia. On top of that, Venezuela is going through the same thing, and Venezuela is one of the biggest producers of oil. If you're in the oil market, I would definitely stay in the oil market also. I like oil, and I think we're going to see 120 to 125 or higher. Don't forget, we've been to 150 oil. So again, it's a time to be very, very conservative. It's a time to invest in assets that you've never considered before as alternative to assets that you've invested in the past. And don't think that the real estate market is going great here in the United States. In actual fact, it isn't. It's mostly a fallacy, because all of those homes that were foreclosed on from 2008 and 2009, a lot of them are still on the books of the banks. So the banks are not in great shape. The U.S. government is not doing great. They're $20 trillion in debt. Again, be very, very careful and be very conservative moving forward. It does not make sense to speculate at this particular time.
One of the things Harold touched on, and that is food inflation. And in our newsletter this week, the real inflation for U.S. food prices is at 19% in 2014. You heard right. The real inflation, U.S. food prices up 19% in 2014. See that chart. We also have another chart in our free weekly newsletter, and it's from Business Insider and Henry Blodgett, and he's saying that right now stocks and bonds are so expensive that they are priced to have the worst long-term performance in history. When you have an asset class that is overvalued over the long term, that will obviously mean underperformance going forward. So if you do have money to allocate it to something like a hard asset, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, diamonds, assets that are undervalued. Speak with Worldwide Precious Metals about getting our free weekly newsletter via email free of charge. Worldwide, out of Vancouver, a leading Canadian precious metals bullion dealer recommended by Harold for over 10 years. They're the experts to trust and work with in a very specialized market, hard assets, gold and silver. You can start your own precious metals investment account. All gold is allocated, either wholesale or premium. They're there to help you maximize the profit, minimize the risk. You will have instant liquidity in and out of the market with just a phone call, 24/7 online access. The metal can be stored on your behalf, insured to the full value of your investment. Ask about domestic or foreign storage and premium storage in specific coin and bar form. Stored metal is outside the banking system, which is so important. The metal can be delivered to your door, and Worldwide has access to the physical precious metals you need today. Their website, it's an outstanding website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com, or give them a call. Let them earn your business, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. Should mention, get our free weekly newsletter this week. It is a must-read. We have 7 astonishing charts exposing the big picture for gold. You want to see those charts along with the others that we already mentioned. As we talked about on the past couple of shows, and I did off the top, Richard Russell is very, very bullish on silver. And one of the experts in silver is David Morgan. And he was interviewed by Greg Hunter, formerly of CNN. And he said on silver, the rush into gold is basically nation states, but the rush into silver is basically the people. And it's not just the people of the United States, it's the people of the world. Silver has been mined in more places in the history of the world than gold ever has. Gold has always been nation state to nation state settlement. What will happen, in my view, and this happened in the late 70s, 79 and 80, is that people will catch on quickly. They will see what's happening in gold, and they will say, I can't afford gold at $2,500 an ounce or $3,000, and they'll say, I'm going to buy silver. Since there are many more people that are middle class or lower that have a financial survivalist instinct, there's going to be a lot of people obviously going for silver. They're going to get whatever they can. The top tiers of all commodities are gold and silver. Why? Because they're money. They last. They don't rot, and they store forever. There will be a rush into gold and silver like you have never seen before. This will be a global phenomenon. It wasn't in 1979. This time it will be. You will either have it or you don't. And what are his price targets? David Morgan saying, I'm on the record that silver will hit $100 an ounce, and that may be conservative. If you look back in history, an ounce of silver is basically a day's wage in very, very good times. The minimum wage in some states in the United States is $9 an hour, and that equates to $72 a day. That means an ounce would be $72 at the minimum, just to be fair value today. I don't think we need to focus on the paper price, but the value of silver relative to the market. Two things to consider here. Silver is very undervalued where it is currently, and its value has a lot of upside. You have to focus on what it's purchased relative to what it purchased in the past, and we have never even got to par. You can watch this interview. It is a must-watch, and you can read some of the, obviously, as I read to you, some of the interview as well. Get our newsletter from Worldwide and read Greg Hunter, David Morgan, Silver Market Update interview. Connect with Worldwide, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. And don't forget, as I mentioned off the top of the show, Richard Russell, very, very bullish on silver. You can read those articles as well. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds. And hsfineauctions.com had an amazing auction on Wednesday night. We'll talk about that as the World Financial Report on Radio continues with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on March 28th, 2014. Our time is 9:14 in the morning Mountain. Radio show runs on your favorite radio stations. The shows are archived streaming at hesradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in World Financial Report on Radio. Find us there. Subscribe to it. You can take us anywhere you want on your portable device. Harold does daily market commentary, too. You can find it on his websites and on the podcast site as well. When it comes to investing in gold and silver, and we can't stress enough that you get the interview Greg Hunter with David Morgan, who's a silver expert, and his thoughts about the silver market right now. Get that interview from Worldwide. They'll be happy to send it out to you. Also, Richard Russell's thoughts on silver. He's very, very bullish on silver right now. You can find out more. Connect with Worldwide. wwpmc.com. The telephone number 1-866-623-2002. Get our free weekly newsletter and current information from them. Harold's website for diamonds, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number 1-800-432-1022. Harold's website for auctions, hsfineauctions.com. One of the best auctions we've ever had happened on Wednesday night. We'll talk about it here in a second. Our featured diamond of the week is a .36 carat princess cut fancy purplish pink argyle. And we have a picture of it in our newsletter. You can also find it on the website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, under the featured diamond of the week. And in our newsletter, you want to get our newsletter from Harold, we have information on diamonds. In fact, Graf unveiled a 55 million multicolored diamond watch at Basel World the opening day on Thursday. It's called Hallucination, and it is absolutely stunning. What they've done with this watch and all the colored diamonds, simply amazing. Also, Sotheby's Hong Kong Magnificent Jewel Sale coming up, and we will have auction results for this on April the 7th. And Christie's Magnificent Jewel Sale out of New York City, that's going to be happening on April 16th. We'll keep track of those auction results when they become available to us. But Harold, hsfineauctions.com had an auction this week, and once again, as we talked about it the week before, the diamonds we had, museum quality pieces, and the prices were simply amazing that they went for at auction.
Oh, you bet. Randy, it was very, very exciting. I'm so proud of this site that we built as a secondary market to resell our clients' diamonds. And, you know, every auction has gotten better and better, and this was one of the best of all. First of all, our selection on this particular auction was outstanding. The coins that we offered went for great prices. We had the Cheetah Wildcats of Africa, solid gold, 24-karat gold set, that sold. The Koala Platinum coin set, both of those sold, and one of them was 2 ounces. It was really spectacular. I'll tell you, the most action was on the Finland Euro triple set. We had over 30 bids on that particular set during the auction. The silver Kilo Aztec coin, which is just one of my favorites, did very, very well. But the pièce de résistance, as far as the coins go, was the Vatican set, the 2004 Vatican set that Pope John Paul was buried with, and that went for well over $1,000. That was really outstanding. The Argyle Pink sold for very good prices. We had a blue diamond, a fancy blue diamond, a 23-point baguette, fancy blue VS2 Clarity. That sold at an excellent price, a really phenomenal diamond. The Argyles did very well. I'll tell you, we had some vivid orange-yellow diamonds that were so magnificent. And if you want to see what those look like, go on hsfineauctions.com, go to the catalog and look at what the last auction was, and look at the videos on some of these diamonds. You've never, ever seen colors like this. We also had a 62-point radiant cut, fancy, vivid, yellowish-orange diamond that is so vivid orange, I've never seen a diamond that color before. The bidding started at $45,000 and went up from there, and the diamond sold, and it is one of the most beautiful diamonds I've ever seen in my lifetime. If you look at the video on that particular diamond, you'll know what I'm talking about. Then we had a beautiful 306 vivid blue sapphire ring, and diamond ring, and this is the only vivid blue sapphire that I've ever seen that was not heat treated. And it was worth $90,000. The starting bid was at $20,000, and I think it sold for around $60,000. But what a spectacular ring that is, and just did very, very well. And in the very last day, we added a diamond that I think Randy will verify, and most people that saw it have never, ever seen a diamond this color before. It's a 25-point emerald cut, fancy deep, green-blue diamond. No greenish blue or bluish green. It's green-blue as 2 primary colors together on this diamond. You've never, ever seen a diamond this color before. We estimated the value at $120,000 for a quarter-carat diamond. The starting price was $40, and it sold for a great price. Look at the video on this diamond, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that this is a museum-quality piece, and nobody has ever seen a diamond this color before. So it was a tremendous auction. We had 230 some odd people that attended the auction from all over the world. We had a lot of people that used our automated bidding system, which again is tremendous. And we built this site for you. You know, being in the rare diamond business, there was never a way to resell diamonds. You know, Christie's and Sotheby's are in the rare diamond business, you know, but most of the diamonds that they sell are in the multi-million-dollar range. But there's a lot of people that collect diamonds and coins and things like that, and there's not an avenue, a credible avenue to sell that. So that's what we built. We built 8 Siegel Fine Auctions as a credible secondary market to resell diamonds. Now, the fact is that it's a work in progress. We're always working to find new clients, new high net worth individuals that will be able to participate in our auctions. And we've been successful at doing that. We've really expanded this business to several areas within the world. We have clients in China, we have clients in Australia, we have clients in England and all throughout Europe and in Canada and in the United States. And now we will be working with one of the top charities, and I'll be announcing that within the next few weeks as soon as everything is done. But we are working with one of the top charities, and we will be doing fundraising, and we'll be actually making some products for them that defy description. So we're very, very excited about our virtual auction business because not only does it work, and what we're doing is making a market for smaller diamonds. And it's proven that it's worked because we sold on Wednesday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We sold 15 diamonds in 1 hour. We did over $600,000 in sales in 1 hour in reselling diamonds. And again, that's never, ever been done before. So again, I'm very, very proud of this. This is something that I believe is our biggest contribution to the diamond business. And we have time to do this. Nobody's really selling off their diamonds. Most of the diamonds on that site were from my private collection. And again, where it breaks my heart to put up diamonds like that, vivid orange or the green blue, the fact is that it brings a lot of notoriety to our business, and people around the world start to notice it, and that's how the business is going to build. So we'll build it and build it. We have 6 years till any of our clients are going to sell their Argyle pinks, so we have time to develop this business, but it's developing very quickly, and we're extremely excited about it. Again, Argyle Mine is going to close in 2020, and the price of the Argyle diamonds could increase 8 to 10 times what the prices are today. They're amongst the best investments you can make. And again, we have certainly proven that we can resell diamonds. All you have to do is attend one of our auctions and see that, our diamonds are selling. Now, most of the diamonds that are selling are not quite up to the estimated value that we want to get them to yet. But again, that's a work in progress. We need to educate and show people how to invest and educate them on the value of these diamonds, and we're doing that. But in the meantime, the diamonds that were sold were all sold at profits. So the diamonds that I bought 10, 15 years ago that I put up for auction on these last few auctions all did extremely well. They may not have hit the prices that I'd like them to hit, but they will eventually. And when there's a shortage in the rare diamond market like there is going to be in Argyle pinks, the prices will go up just by sheer, supply and demand. So I couldn't be more pleased with with this week's auction. We'll try to hold one at least once a month. I know with this charity, when we announce it, we'll be doing a Mother's Day auction for the charity, which I'll invite a lot of our clients to attend also. So the diamond market is just doing tremendously well. The worse things get in Europe and in the world, and the more concerns there are about the banking system and about the currency markets, the more diamonds make sense. Just so you know, not every diamond is a good investment. In fact, when you look at Argyle, the Argyle mine in Western Australia was the largest producing diamond mine in the world. And that's where 95% of the world's pink diamonds come from. But do you know that 95% of the diamonds that the Argyle mine produces are low-quality white diamonds called industrial whites that are used to cut other diamonds? So 95% of those diamonds that come out of the mine are these industrial white diamonds, leaving 5% that are not industrial whites. And what that makes up is the pink diamonds, the brown diamonds, the blue diamonds, the orange diamonds, and the odd red diamond. Now, even though Argyle produces pink diamonds, not all pink diamonds that come out of the Argyle mine are investment quality. In fact, many of the diamonds that we get from Argyle, we resell off to jewelers, the brownish pinks and those type of diamonds that are not considered investment quality. We sell those off, and we're lucky to make 5% on that. All we keep are the highest quality Argyle pinks, and those are the ones that we sell to our clients for investment purposes. Those are the diamonds that go up the most in value. So when you really sit down and look at all of the diamonds that come out of the Argyle mine, maybe 1% of them are investment quality diamonds. You're talking a minuscule number. And the amount of pink diamonds that come out of the Argyle mine that are actually investment quality would barely fill a champagne flute. That's how small that diamond market is. Now this mine is going to close in 2020, and these very few Argyle pinks and the odd blue and red and orange that comes out of the market are so valuable. They're the most concentrated form of wealth in the world. So basically, you can still buy these diamonds. It's 6 years till this mine closes. You can still buy the diamonds at great prices. That's why we're holding these auctions, to allow our clients to be able to buy these diamonds at phenomenal prices. And also on our website, we've got some of the most beautiful Argyle pink diamonds that you've ever seen in your lifetime, and they're always on our website for sale. And then we will resell them for you when the time comes on our auction site. So that's what we've built. RareColoredDiamonds.com, the premier diamond company within the world. Nobody has what we have. Nobody sells the yellow flawless diamonds that we sell, and nobody sells the Argyle pinks and the D flawlesses. We're also the biggest dealer of green diamonds in the world, and green diamonds, you're soon going to learn, are amongst the rarest diamonds in the world, and green diamonds can go up as much as red and blue diamonds can. So, with everything happening with Russia now and with Venezuela and the markets in disarray and the volatility, to put away a diamond for your future is a very smart move. If you took $20,000, if that's what your investment comfort level is, you could buy a yellow flawless diamond from us for $20,000. Put it away for 10 years and give it back to us in 10 years, and that diamond's going to be worth about $75,000. Those diamonds go up by about 15% a year. There's only about 100 to 120 of them cut a year, and we sell about 80% of those to our clients. The rest is really put into jewelry. And the same thing is going to happen with pinks. The pink diamond market increases by 15 to 20% a year, except for the higher colors like the vivids. Those are going up more like 25 or 50% a year. So the diamond market is on fire. We're very excited about it. Our auctions are doing extremely well, and we're getting a lot of press on this. And again, all we want is for our clients to do well. So go to RareColoredDiamonds.com, look at the featured diamond this week, look at our Argyle pinks and our yellow flawlesses, and put some money into the diamond market. It's going to turn out to be one of the best investments you've ever made.
And I'm looking at it right now on my iPhone, lot 20. 0.25 carat emerald cut, fancy deep green blue diamond. And Harold actually asked me to go take a look at it yesterday because it was an add-on to the auction. And I have never seen a diamond of this color before. You can go to hsfineauctions.com and take a look at the catalog. It's at the very bottom. And that sold for a very nice price. But when you're dealing with hsfineauctions.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com, you're dealing with the best of the best. And that's why Harold gets these super rare diamonds, museum pieces. Harold, you take a look at this diamond. I have never seen a diamond that color before. In fact, you were mentioning to me that it's getting to be very difficult to video some of these diamonds because of the spectacular color. And we like to do it where the diamond goes round and round and it's videoed, and it just, the light is catching the diamonds and sending that light out, and it's making it difficult to video at times, which doesn't surprise me because you take a look at lot 18, that 0.62 carat radiant cut fancy vivid yellowish orange diamond, just a stunning, stunning color. And then on top of it, we had that pear-cut, fancy, vivid, yellowish-orange diamond, 0.45 carat. These diamonds are museum pieces that are so rare, so hard to find. You see them on Harold's website. The reason he has them is he's the top rare-colored diamond specialist in the world today. If you're looking for investment diamonds, speak with Harold. RareColoredDiamonds.com. The telephone number 1-800-432-1022. Harold's auction site, hsfineauctions.com. If you'd like to learn more, go there and take a look around and see what was auctioned off on Wednesday. And Harold, one of the ones that I really liked too was that 0.34 carat hard cut fancy vivid orange yellow diamond. The hard cut on that was simply spectacular. But in the blue too, we can't forget about the baguette cut fancy blue diamond. But the reason Harold gets these diamonds, he is the top investment rare colored diamond specialist in the world today, and he is the person to deal with. Connect with him via the internet, rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. And I know, Harold, this was the best auction we've ever had, and obviously the next time out we'll try and top the past one.
You bet. And the one previous to that was excellent also. We had a pure orange diamond there, and that had 35 bids on it also. So, again, I'm just very, very pleased. You know, as they say, build it and they will come, and that's exactly what it is. But this particular site is so technical and so well run that our auctions are like flawless now. So it was a big deal to build something like this. I really have to take my hat off to my guys in Vancouver, you know, Craig and Owen and all the guys there, Britton, everybody who built this at Relentless Technologies. These guys are the best I've ever seen. They built all of our websites, but I got to tell you, the auction website has really caused a lot of stir in the market. There's a lot of credibility, and big things are going to happen with us in the auction business. I believe down the road we're going to give Christie's and Sotheby's a run for their money. In fact, it's very possible that H. Siegel Fine Auctions will be hosting an auction later on this year in New York, and there will be in the range of $40 to $50 million worth of diamonds at this auction, and it will be live, but featuring H. Siegel Fine Auctions. So, again, great things are happening. We worked very, very hard at this. You know, we built this for our clients, and I'm very, very pleased that it's working that well. And again, you know, you're right. The diamonds that we brought up this week are second to none. That fancy, vivid orange yellow, there was no issues in them. You know, it's either orange, you know, orangey or yellowish. No, these are two primary colors, orange, yellow, and vivid. And, man, that heart was so beautiful. The color was ridiculous. But, again, just very pleased and very proud of the fact that our auction business is doing so well, and I believe it's going to be one of the best businesses moving forward.
Our featured diamond this week from RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured diamond. If you've wanted your very own Argyle diamond, this is the one, a 0.36 carat princess cut, fancy purplish pink Argyle. And those diamonds have done very, very well at auction. Speak with Harold, connect with him, RareColoredDiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. In the diamond section, we have the two interviews from Bloomberg that Harold was on Bloomberg last year with Deirdre Bolton and Carol Masser. We have links to those interviews. Also information on Christie's, their magnificent jewel sale, April the 16th, and Sotheby's Hong Kong having a jewel sale, magnificent jewel sale on April the 7th, and Graf unveiling a $55 million multicolored diamond watch at Basel World, the opening day yesterday. This is a watch that is simply spectacular. But Harold, for me personally, when I am dealing with people, the ones I enjoy dealing with the most, whether you're, you know, making an investment or purchasing something, people who have a passion for what they do. This is not a business for Harold and his family. This is a way of life. And I know that personally. I've come to love diamonds and researching diamonds and learning from Harold and his family about diamonds. This is a way of life. It's a passion that they have for diamonds, and they put all that passion into RareColoredDiamonds.com and hsfineauctions.com, where some people are in the diamond business. Harold, he's passionate about rare colored diamonds. He's in the passion business, not only for investment purposes, but for what it looks like when people are wearing those diamonds. As we know, when his wife Harriet wears these spectacular diamonds to different charity events, the people come up to her and want to take pictures. And Harold, that is something you just cannot put a price tag on.
Very true. And my wife, I got to say, is a very, very down-to-earth, beautiful woman. and she takes everything in stride. She's not, overwhelmed by the situation. She just takes it as in stride, and she's great, with me in business. And I really appreciate what you said there, Randy. That means a lot to me. When you look at people that are very passionate about the diamond business, like Lauren's graph, it comes out in their work, and I don't consider this work. Every day that I show up, I can't wait to get to the office every day because, I'm knee deep in the most beautiful diamonds in the world type of thing. So again, it's imperative at this point that we understand that not only are they beautiful, but they serve a purpose. And investment-wise, they're one of the best investments you can make. You won't lose on them. They never go down in value. We've built the secondary market to resell them. And again, when you put one of these beautiful treasures on your wife's finger or around her neck, you're going to see the true beauty and the benefit of owning these magnificent pieces. So again, I couldn't be happier to be in the diamond business and to be in the auction business. It's definitely the future of the diamond market. Is to be able to create that secondary market and be able to resell our clients' diamonds for them.
So remember, this week's featured diamond, a 0.36 carat Princess Cut fancy purplish pink argyle. If you go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, click on Featured Diamond of the Week, you can see the video there as well. We have a picture of it in our newsletter, a link that will take you there. Just click on the link and it will take you to the website. And if you've not had a chance to see Harold on Bloomberg Television being interviewed by Carol Masser and Deirdre Bolton, who has subsequently moved on to Fox Business, definitely take the time to watch those interviews if you've not already done so. And we look forward to auction results coming out of Christie's and Sotheby's with the auctions that they have. But you talk about passion, and Harold touched on Lawrence Graff. You have a passion for the business when you put together a $55 million multicolored diamond watch and display it at Basel World. We have a picture of that watch in the newsletter. And Harold has, along with his company, created some outstanding rings. And if you're interested in, obviously, making that investment and having it created into outstanding jewelry, speak with Harold, connect with him. rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. And Harold, we have about 3 minutes left, and all we can say at this point is now is the time to position yourself, because here in 6 years, 2020, we know the Argyle mine is going away. We know that for a fact. Now is the time, here we are 6 years away, to position yourself, sit back, be patient, and then reap the harvest.
You bet. It's a situation that will never, ever happen again. There is no mine in existence that produces 95% of any particular type of diamond. So once the Argyle mine closes, we will never have an opportunity to do this again. And it's very simple. There's no mystery to this. It's supply and demand. Demand for pink diamonds are high, very, very high. And the supplies are the lowest that they've ever been, and soon there will be no more. And it would just be like any other commodity that is important. Once that commodity is gone, the prices for those that remain are extremely high, and that's what's happening in diamonds as we speak. There's no real great discounts on high quality diamonds at this point, because again, they're such a sought after asset. So, if you come across a diamond that seems to be ridiculously low in price, you've got to look and see why it's that way, because diamonds right now, again, are at the top of their game. It's one of the most important assets you could ever own, and with what's coming forward, you need to own an asset like that that's portable, private wealth, that never declines in value and could be sold in other currencies. So again, the diamond market right now is just perfect for an investment in pink diamonds and in yellow flawlesses.
And on the metal side, Harold recommends Worldwide Precious Metals. To invest in gold and silver, connect with them, www.pmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. Richard Russell saying this week, silver is the greatest buy in the world today. And there was actually a silver vault open for 600 tons starting in Singapore based on the demand. Richard Russell also coming out and saying that he's buying physical silver right now. Get those articles from Worldwide and speak with Harold about rare colored diamonds. And Harold, thank you very much for another outstanding show.
It's my pleasure, Randy. I really enjoyed it. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
You can get our free weekly newsletter from Worldwide or from Herald. We'll be happy to send it out to you. It's the companion to our radio show. It's a must-read every week. Connect with Worldwide Precious Metals, wwpmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. Get that information on silver, on the colored diamonds, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Take a look at hsfineauctions.com, and as well our featured diamond of the week. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.